from the position. So just your thoughts on that before we move on.
Yeah, Paul, another fiasco in the FAI. The more things, what's that saying? The more things change, the more they stay the same. It's just the FAI just cannot seem to get their house in order. Ever since the John Delay debacle, it's been one fiasco after another. Now we have another one. I think it was last Monday or last Tuesday when I heard that Jonathan Hill had decided to step down at the end of this month. It didn't come it was a shock, but then when you think about it, it wasn't too much of a surprise, Paul, to be quite honest with you. We've had the fiasco having 4 years waiting to get a short sponsor for the FAI's main team, the men's team. The women have had Sky for a number of years now, and eventually we got a deal over the line for the men's jerseys now. But also in the committee, I think in the Rockets committee, I think a few board members were asked for their confidence in Jonathan Hill, and it was very, very cold. And I think the fact that he didn't get too much of a backing that day, you felt maybe his position was under pressure. And the fact now that he has decided to step down, it probably isn't too much of a surprise. When you look at this, a lot of people found issue, Paul, with the chief executive at the Football Association of Ireland wasn't living in the country. He was flying in and out of England. That was now.
No, correct me if I'm wrong. Did he come from the English FA at some stage? Was he involved with him at some level? Or?
I do believe he was involved with English FA, and he's been involved with other levels in English football at administration level. But yeah, look, that's no harm either. Like, but as long as if you do a good job, there's no personal issue there at all. But a lot of people did find that the fact that he didn't live in the country, he's been with the association now for nearly 4 years. They found it a bit odd. He was getting well paid. People felt, look, you need to be on the ground every day, down at the grassroots, down at everything, doing an association with football in Ireland, and that was something that people didn't like. Look, I find this that I don't have too much an issue with, as long as the person's doing a good job and they're doing it to the best of their abilities and they're getting results. I don't mind it too much, but it was one of those things that riled up a few people, all right. And the issue with the sponsor, as I said, went on and on and on. Now the fiasco now, of course, with the men's manager, or lack of a men's manager, you could say, is another thing that's against him as well. So, Jonathan Hill, look, I honestly don't know where they're going to go from here. I think they're going to get an interim CEO.
The fella has been appointed interim from within, but I can't think of his name. But
I can't think of his name, but I think Jonathan Hill will be gone by the end of this month. And look, it's unsatisfactory, Paul, the way things are going with the Football Association of Ireland, and it's just another. It shows up the association, to be honest with you, Paul.
No, can I come in there? First of all, there's no fear of him. He didn't just be sacked, so he's got a compensation package. So there's no fear of him. His contract is paid up. There's no fear of him. He's what I describe as a technocrat, a bureaucrat, and this applies in sport, in business, in nearly every organisation now. Most of them, the majority of them, well, these guys at the top, they're managers. To manage an organisation. They're bureaucrats, technocrats. They have no connection to the company. The company here is the FAI or the organisation. As you said, he lived in England. He had no connection to it. He didn't really, I won't say he didn't care, I can't say that, but he had no connection to it. He just brought in as I said, these technocrats, bureaucrats. This is the way most of these organisations work now, whether it is media, politics, sport, example. Do you know what I mean, Wilson? So he'll step away and he gets his compensation package. And this time next year, he'll surface again in another organisation. So I have no sympathy for him. I have no sympathy. I think this format of bringing in these guys with no connection whatsoever to the FAI or no connection to soccer in Ireland, I don't agree with it. So it's just another gig to them. They do it for a couple of years, they step away, and they'll surface again for the next gig. So just before we move on to the director of football, but that's my thoughts on him anyway.
Yeah, but you can see it by the results. The FAI has not been run very well in the last 4 years. I mean, I don't mean to go back now with the war in the hole when John Delaney left, and the FAI have been trying to recover from it ever since. But no, I think you're right though. You didn't seem to get the passion. So we need someone in there that has the passion for Irish football and can grab the association, shake it up, and get it working properly, because it clearly isn't at the moment. I agree with you that it is probably another gig for a lot of people. And look, I don't. Look, you say you don't have any sympathy with Jonathan. No, Jonathan, to be fair, isn't looking for sympathy. I don't really see that in his interviews doing that. He says, look, he's done his job. He gave the thing is he gave like during COVID, he gave Kinney another chance in the contract. Maybe he felt maybe the Euros that are coming up in 2024, that was the time we could develop the team and qualify for major tournaments. Unfortunately, that fell flat in our faces. But look, it isn't exactly a good legacy to leave on. It's look, he'll get another gig, Paul. It's no problem to have with that, and he'll move on. This guy will have to move on, but
yeah. Now we have the second guy here. It's Marc Canham. His name is.
Canham, yeah.
He's the director of football, and to me again, this is only my personal opinion. He's the exact same type. He's a bureaucrat. He's a technocrat, just doing his job. In the day, it's only another gig. And he did an interview there last week, or some day last week. I won't say trying to. I wouldn't even call it an apology. He had said they were going to announce the manager in January, in February, in April, and he was done. And of course, it really pissed off a lot of people. He was done in-house to an in-house PR team.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a proper question. He was just reading out of the script what I could understand of it. And it's just another gig again. I say he'll be gone fairly soon as well. So to me, it's just and at the same time, they're hawking tickets for this. Ireland are playing Hungary in just before the Euros. Ireland are going to play a couple of games to warm up the other teams for the Euros. One of them is in Dublin, and they're hawking tickets already for it, trying to tell them to buy your tickets. And these guys are coming on doing in-house interviews and just not even a half apology. So just in my opinion, another technocrat, another bureaucrat, he'll move on again and he'll have another gig.
Yeah, Paul, saw the interview. It was about 4 minutes long. As you said yourself, it wasn't an in-house interview. I think what amazes people is that we've had so many deadlines, and every one of them has been passed. First of all, it was the Nations League draw. If you don't remember that, Paul, we have
early February.
Early February to February 8th, that fell by the wayside. Then it was April. Then we thought it was Lee Carsley, and we found out it wasn't Lee Carsley. Lee Carsley said he interviewed him as far back in December or late December, November even. He was short a few days even after Stephen Kenny had officially been let go. And he said, no, I'm staying on with England in the 2021s. There's been so much BS with this or lack of appointment that Paul, and he said he understood the frustrations of Irish football fans. Well, to be honest, I don't know if they do. I mean,
I'm sorry for cutting across your nose, but I just have to come in there. I think they don't give a damn about that. It's not my own personal opinion about the people on the ground trying to buy the tickets. It's just a gig. It means nothing to them, right? They're getting well paid for it. They'll have a gig before it. They'll have a gig after it. They just say what they have to say. That's my own personal opinion. And again, this isn't just FAI. You see now this in nearly all organisations. We have these guys in at the top, as I said, bureaucrats, technocrats. They have no, the man and the woman on the street has no connection to them. They have no call on them. They'll just do their gig and they'll say what they want to say with a smiley face. They put up the deadlines go away. If that was you, if that was an ordinary man and woman working in a factory, and you had a deadline to finish a job by Friday, you get 2 weeks, you didn't do it, you'll be warned. If it happened the second time, you get the sack. But these guys, it just makes no difference. That's just my own personal opinion.
Yeah, Paul, the search for the manager has been a fiasco, and you find that. Look, I've always seen Marc Canham in interviews. I don't think he generally comes across as a bad guy, but I find that if you had someone in there that was passionate about Irish football, who knew the grassroots of Irish football, knew the association inside out, and knew what needed to be changed, knew what needed to be kept, I find that the association would be much better run. But getting back to the manager search, though, no manager now until at least September. I mean, that gives the new manager absolute impossible. I mean, it's hard enough managing an international team, because you need a bit of a build-up. These friendlies were put in mind for the new manager to get to know the players, knows what he likes, knows what he doesn't like, and change it around and be professional and be prepared for that game against England. Because one of the main reasons, Paul, that Kinney didn't last was in the Nations League, we always did poorly. We always started very poorly. We would rescue it a little bit. I remember a couple of times there, the last Nations League campaign, with some good performances in Scotland that kept Kenny in the job. But as Didi Hammond was to say on RT, we were well out of the groups by the first 2 or 3 games. We were already doing a rescue mission in by the end of it, not to get relegated. So the fact now that the new manager coming in, his first game is going to be that Nations League campaign. I find it ridiculous. They're talking that in hindsight they would never put these deadlines, and they have to. And he said to Irish football fans to trust the process. Now, Paul, that is one of the phrases that drives football fans absolute bananas. And I'll give you an example.
Speak, Noel. It's a corporate slogan.
It's complete corporate speak. And it's hard enough in international football, but I'll give you an example, Paul. This used to be told to, if your friends that are Arsenal fans, when Arteta was doing really, really badly at the start, the board and all them were saying, trust the process. Now, to be fair, it took a long time for us to get back on their feet, and now they're flying it with Arteta. But at international level, you don't get that time. You don't get that time with the players. You don't get that time because you're at club level. You're in at the training ground day in, day out, match by match. International level, there's only a short window. You got a week with the players max, and then whether you do a training camp maybe before a few games during the summer, because there used to be games in June, for example, the Nations League near the end of the season. But for that short period, you got a week, and then you got probably 2 games. Then after that, you don't see him again for another 2 or 3 months. So everything has to be international football. You have to be prepared right, and I find that this, we're sorry about this, we're sorry about that. It's not good enough, and I find, look, Willie Samuel, I think the manager of Georgia, it looks like he's the man they're after, because I think Gus Pyatt contract is up with Greece. I think in that last game of the playoff where they lost against Georgia, funny enough, as far as I know, about 2 or 3 days after that, his contract was up. So Gus Pyatt is free now. This is just they can't seem to get him. And now Willie Samuel is going to the Euros with Georgia. And by the talk now is, like we said, the new manager won't be at least in place till September. So, but they're banking on this now, that Willie Samuel is not going to change his mind. Whether they have but they've no written, I would say, Paul, under the rules of, I don't know exactly. When you're a manager of another team, I don't think you can sign a contract with another international team until your contract is up. I'm open to correction on that, but he's going to have a couple of games, three anyway, and maybe a knockout game, but they won't go much further. So he'll be free by the middle of July at least. How does he? I don't know. Does he have a contract where it's for the next World Cup campaign or not? Are they banking on him resigning and then taking the Irish job? Or maybe he might just say, look, the Irish manager's job doesn't really appeal to me now. I've got a team that's qualified for the Euros. I like my job now. He might have a change of mind and say, no, I'm not gonna take the job. And you've got ex-Irish players like John O'Shea, Chris Hughton. There's other like I wouldn't really see Roy Keane taking the job, to be honest with you. There are other options there, but there seem to be tunnel vision now on what we think is Willie Samuel, because they've said that one of the managers that they're after has a contract. So we're only assuming that it's probably him.
How do we know that? They were saying that earlier on in April, early this month in the March. That's right. Just more bluff. We don't know now. Everything now has to be taken with a bucket of salt.
Oh yeah, totally. Because they said in April the contract situation would be sorted by then, and now it's not. So I don't know, Paul. Because if the contract was up in April, it's up in April. He's free as a bird then after a certain date in April. So I just don't know. Like there's it could be someone out.
Yeah, finish up. Sorry.
It could be someone out in left field altogether. It mightn't even be Willie Samuel. It might be someone else that they're thinking of. We just don't know. We've had so many names between Chris Hughton, Lee Carsley, Roy Keane, Neil Lennon, Sam Allardyce, Chris Coleman. God knows who else has been linked with the job at the moment. Steve Bruce. It's just been one fiasco after another, Paul, and I think Irish football fans are getting really, really annoyed with this.
Yeah, but you know what? There's even a chance that come September, this guy here, Canham, could walk away too and take his garden and leave. Do you know what I mean with that? That's the way. I give you an example before we move on to the next topic. A number of years ago, there was a chief executive called Bernard O'Byrne, and he eventually left FAI. He disappeared for a couple of years. He reappeared now, and you know what he was? he was the chief executive of the Irish Basketball Association. Do you know what I mean, myself?
Oh yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
These guys, if I had a spare five in my ass pocket, as the man said, this guy could be gone in September. On to